In this video, let's talk about how to pitch your ideas or startup to investors. I've gathered this checklist from many different books, and I've tried to pitch my startup to potential investors as I mentioned before. And this is how I did it and how you can do it for your startup as well. The very first important one is, of course, to explain about customer problems and the value that you will add to your target customer's lifestyle. It doesn't necessarily have to be problems oriented only. It can be value added to the lifestyle or social status or even financially. And there wasn't any problem with photo sharing at first, but Instagram offered tools to edit the photos to make it look more glamorous. So it adds value to people needs to show up perfect images of themselves. And people love it. But if you come up with a solution for the problem, make sure you highlight the pain points and how bad it will be without your product and services. And basically, it's a question of what you are trying to solve and why your product and services are the right one to solve it. And second is the product overview. This is to show how you're going to solve the problems. And of course, you need to mention what you do, for whom you do it, and why your solution is the best to solve the problems. Only after that, you try to convince why you and your team are perfect for the job, and the industry backgrounds that you have, the skills and expertise that your team members have in order to accomplish things the way you want it. And remember, investor invests on the team or people rather than the idea or the company itself. So it's very important to show that the founders are well qualified and committed for the job. And then you may show the market side, potential growth that you can achieve with your startup to give a picture of why people should invest in the startup given the opportunities in the market. After that, you can further present the competitive landscape of the industry you are in and explain your competitive advantage over others to highlight the fact that people should invest in your startup rather than in your competitors. This is important because investors need to know that you have unique competitive advantage to beat the competition. And it can be the value propositions that you offer or the networks that you have in the business community. But the thing is, if you are no different than others, why should investors put their money in the first place? They can simply put it somewhere else. So in a way, this session is to show up why you are different and better than others. And as far as I'm concerned, this point can also determine success and failures in raising capital for your startup. Next is go-to-market strategy that we've talked about previously. Basically, it's about what the company will sell, how it will sell it, at what cost, and how you plan to scale the business, etc. And after that, you can provide the overview of the stage you are with the product development, customer acquisition, and partnerships building process so that people you're trying to pitch get the idea of where you are now and where you want to go next. And after that, the risks and challenges for the startup. From investor perspectives, there is always risks involved with every investment, and they are well aware of the fact that risks of investing in startup is far greater than any other investment out there in the market. So it's important to highlight this fact to show them your honesty and transparency on how you plan to sort things out should things go wrong. And of course, investors will do due diligence when they consider investing in the startup, so they will find out pretty much everything anyway. So it's better to inform them in advance for the risks and challenges that you have. After that, you can give a clear picture of financials and economics of how things work and the revenue that you plan to generate in the next 5 years with different assumptions. And then you can explain how you plan to exit the startup. And you can even provide your potential buyer list if you have enough confidence that some big companies will take over the startup in the near future. Or if you plan to exit through IPO, you can inform of the timeline you expect to go for the IPO. Although it may sound not very important in the pitch, but investors need to know the plan so they can prepare in advance. Then you can explain how much fund you needed and how you will spend the money and the targets that you are trying to achieve with the investment that you are looking for. And some people would argue that this should be in this early session to give quick overview of what you need and what you would do with the fundings, but it depends on the type of investors you are presenting, and it'd be better if you know the fabric style of your investors you're pitching, so it'd be easier for the investor to understand things and can make decisions based on their understandings. But the point is, these topics should be included in the presentation deck. It doesn't really matter how you start off the pitch and how you end it. It's a matter of how you can go confidently to present your ideas to your investors. This is the end of the course, and I hope you've learned something from this course for your own startup venture. And you can download the pitch deck of Uber and Airbnb in the resource session to study more on how these companies present their idea when they start raising funds. And I wish you a very good luck. And if you have any question, you can always ask through Q&A session or send personal email, and I'll be happy to respond as quickly as possible. And thank you, and bye for now.